In what year will the budget be balanced?
As we've shown each year, we've shown the ongoing trajectory to be fiscally responsible by reducing the amount of debt to our GDP over time.
In what year will the budget be balanced?
As I've said, we think it's important to be fiscally responsible and to have a balanced approach to managing our economy. And that is exactly the approach we've taken. Happily, it's working with a high level of growth, and it's showing that we can make investments in our long-term future and do it in a fiscally responsible way.
And in what year will the budget be balanced?
And as I've said, the approach that we've taken is one that has demonstrably worked. The economy is growing much faster than it was, of course, when we came into office, after the previous government left us with a
in what year will
very
the
low rate of growth.
budget be? In what year will the budget be balanced?
I would be pleased to continue to have the same response to the same question, and that is that we believe that having a balanced approach to
what about a balanced budget? When will that happen?
We will continue to make investments on behalf of the long-term future of Canadians.
You promised in 2019
working.
you'd have a balanced budget. Will you balance the budget in 2019?
We will continue to make investments that we see are appropriate to grow our economy, and happily that's working.
And when will the budget be balanced?
And we'll continue to do that in a fiscally responsible way.
Okay. So the minister doesn't know when the budget will be balanced. So I'll ask the question again. When will the budget be balanced? In what year?
As I've said, we think finding a balance is particularly important.
In what year?
The balance that we're
one of the in the rules of orders, repetitive questions can be cut. So you can ask the question in a different way, but I'm not going to allow a series of questions on exactly the same words during this second session because we're going to run out of time. So go ahead and ask it a different way.
On what date will the budget be balanced?
As I've said, our focus is responsibly investing in our economy so we can see growth, and doing that in a way that allows us to reduce debt as a function of our economy, which is proving to be extremely successful, showing higher growth than we've seen in a decade, higher growth than the previous government experienced, job growth that hasn't been around for a decade, more families with more confidence than...
Mr. Minister, we're going to try and hold you to the same time as the questioner if we could. Go ahead.
Will the budget be balanced within this decade?
Again, within the time period that we are estimating, we will actually have the lowest debt burden as a function of our GDP in 40 years.
When will we arrive at a day when the deficit is zero? In what year?
We will continue to make investments to get ourselves to a higher growth rate, which is what's been successful. And that has allowed us to be in a much better economic position than we would have been otherwise, with more Canadians being successful and a very responsible fiscal approach.
Is it possible that you just don't know? Because you've been asked about 15 times today when the budget will be balanced, and you've been incapable of providing a year, a date, or even an approximation. There's no shame, Minister, in just saying you don't know. Is that the case? Is it that you just don't know when the budget will be balanced?
What we've said is that we believe that managing our economy responsibly is important, and the accolades from organizations like the International Monetary Fund, the recognition of people like the Organization for Economic Coordination and Development are important to say that, the kind of fiscal policies we're taking, which have led to significant growth, many more jobs, and a very responsible approach to managing down our debt, is the right way to go forward. Balanced way of making a difference for Canadians.
Mr.